Man, you know what? We've been playing these games a lot. I think you could say that we are obsessed with these games.
We're obsessed with these games.
I mean, we're like really enjoying playing them.
We lick these games.
We don't be licking the games.
I lick these games.
Are you licking our games?
Yes.
Which games have you licked, man?
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm very worried about it. That's the only thing I'm worried about is how many games.
There goes half the viewers, you know, Mikey?
Yeah, man, we gotta get those viewers out of here quick. They got the click and now they're gone. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike.
I'm Nick.
We are the Brothers Murph, and we're talking about games that we are currently obsessed with. These are the games that are
super into right now.
That are just taking up our brain space.
Yeah, games we're thinking about, we're not playing them. You know, I've had dreams about these games.
Yeah.
You know, some of those were very erotic. But nonetheless, yeah, these are games that are just like we're super, super into right now. We like doing these lists because it's like interest and stuff come and go, and so it's nice to kind of every once in a while take stock and be like, what am I into like right now?
What is hitting?
And also we're gonna have a couple more games over on our Patreon. If you wanna check out even more games that we're super, super into right now, make sure to check that out over on Patreon. Like, subscribe and all that, and I guess we should go, hey?
Let's hit it.
Hey, since we're on the topic of obsession, you should feed your own obsession with us by clicking the subscribe button. I know that means we're just enabling you, but guess what? It's not our job to fix you. It's our job to let the beast out of the cage. Be obsessed with obsessing with this us in this game as well. Okay, bye.
All right, our number 10 is going to be a bit of a cheat because it's been on both of our minds, but particularly my mind, quite a bit lately. And this is going to be the Prodigals Club. This is my favorite game. So you might be like, that doesn't count of a game you're currently obsessed with. But like, I also just did a very, very big video on the Prodigals Club. If you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. I'm very, very proud of that video. It was
I watched it again with Logan yesterday.
It was very different than anything we've ever done. But I've been thinking about Prodigals Club because it took like a month to make that video.
Sure.
So I've been thinking about it constantly and figuring out like why it is I really love this game and like the specific things that I like about this game. And then on top of that, because it's my favorite game, like within the last year, we've played it a bunch
in the last year than we had in like the 4 years prior.
Probably.
Like, we really did play it a lot.
So we really have it. I really love this game. Obviously, it's my favorite game, but this is a game where you're basically trying to be the biggest douchebag on the planet. It's kind of a sequel to Last Will. You are trying to lose all of your friends. You're trying to lose all of your money and lose an election.
You're trying to burn it all down.
You're trying to burn it all down. You're doing that through worker placement and card play. It's a really cool game that I really, really like a lot. Go watch that video if you want to hear a lot more about why I like it and the very specific reasons why. But nonetheless, I'm really obsessed with it right now because I've been obsessing over it for a whole month making this video.
Seriously?
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is my favorite game.
Yeah, it's nice to like do all that and not be sick of it.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So that's our number 10, Prodigals Club. Number 9 has been on my particular list for a long time. This is Castle Combo.
Yeah, really.
This is one of our favorite games from last year. It's one that I have played a ton with Karen, a ton online. God,
Just
and every opportunity,
really.
This is a perfect kind of filler game where you are making a 3x3 grid of cards over 9 turns. Everyone will have the same, full grid at the end of the game. And these are all going to be different, either townsfolk or folks from the castle, noblemen and squires and various characters. And they are all going to provide you an instant benefit when you purchase them. It might be, some keys or money and stuff to kind of help propel you into future turns. And they're going to also give you an endgame scoring condition, a thing that they score for. And there's various things that these things can score for. Each character will have 1 or 2 shields, different colors and stuff. And so you might want to have a row with a bunch of blue or green or something like that. So you can get stuff like that. There's these purses where you can put money on and then they'll be worth points at the end of the game, all sorts of stuff. So the whole game is just built around making a super combo-y castle. 9 cards that all trigger
baby,
and beef up each other.
Yeah.
To have as many points as possible. So it's great because you get all this like fun time to think about, what you're building and stuff, but it's 9 turns long, so it's a very quick game.
Yeah.
And I really like that. You get a lot of fun decisions in a very short period of time. You're never going to build the same thing twice, so it's just kind of, I think, been a piece of why it's just been so replayable all year long.
And also, there's like, Fox the Meeple was talking about this with like small box card games, and this is very much it's the filler game of the moment for us.
Sure.
If you had asked us 6 months ago we did this list, this spot would probably be taken by Captain Flip.
Yep.
Still love Captain Flip. I taught it to a new friend the other day. It's outstanding.
Yep.
But right now, there's like these kind of fillers that like we're like, oh, if we have time for a filler, we'll go through months where it's like, we're going to play this. And then that gets taken by another filler, and that's great. And Foster Meeble was talking about, a lot of times there's like a new card game every year.
Sure.
That they're just like, it was Scout, and then it was Nana and stuff. And there's like all these card games where it's like they kind of have this like obsession for a year, and then they just kind of join the regular rotation of like great card games.
They're still around, still doing their thing.
Filler games kind of have that too, and right now that is very much Castle Combo.
Yeah, for us, it's
Which
just
is why
one that...
this list is interesting. It's like, what are we obsessed with right now?
Yeah.
And it's like right now it's Castle Combo.
Yeah, by next year it might not be in that.
Yeah.
It might be been replaced by a newer card game.
Great
but,
filler game, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to touch on this. It's just like what's really occupying our brain. And right now, it's all Castle Combo.
We lied, it's not all Castle Combo, because number 8 is Fast Sloths.
There's
you
many
butts.
more coming after.
There's so
that.
many,
Yeah.
yes. Fast Sloths. Fast Sloths is, I really like Fast Sloths, but all of us do. This is a game that we've wanted to play off of premise alone. This is why theme matters, because if you have a really good theme, I will play your game no matter what.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll definitely be more inclined to give something a try if the theme is interesting, if I know nothing else.
Yeah, totally.
And Fast Sloths is a pick up and deliver game, except for you are a sloth that's being carried around by other animals, and you're just trying to have lunch. You're just trying to get yourself brought over to these various trees to eat these leaves, and you are the parcel that's being moved around.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're too slow as a sloth. You can move one
You're
space.
not trying to move. Screw that. Yeah, get out of here.
So this is a game where you are drafting cards that belong to the various animals in the game, and what animals are available will change from game to
I think
game.
there's 12, and you only ever use 6. So
Yeah,
you can
so
mix them up.
Yeah, which is cool. So you're going to be, having these, and then you're going to either be drafting cards, or on a turn you can play as many cards as you want of one animal type, which are going to give you action points for that animal, which is going to help them move around, pick up your sloth, carry him around and stuff. That's going to be how you actually, get your leaves and things like that. And it really comes down to the fun of how each animal works differently. Yeah. So like the thing that we always cite is like a giraffe, for example, can pick up the sloth from 2 spaces away because they have a big long neck. So they can go beer and pick you up, and they can also drop you off 2 spaces away. So I can get away with moving less far because I can still get 2 extra movement essentially on that drop off or that pickup. Yeah. And that's really what it is. This is an interesting game because it is thinkier than you would expect,
and more tactical than you'd expect.
Absolutely, because we're all using the same animals and stuff. So I might want to move this thing over here because it's out of the way for Nick and makes your life a little harder. Lining stuff up so that I can get these things, hop on this giraffe and get thrown around by some orangutans later, and like trying to figure that out is actually quite tricky.
Yeah, it's puzzlier than you think.
Yeah, it's puzzlier than you think, but it's such a silly theme.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
That it just kind of carries you right through.
Yeah, it's cool, and all the animals work differently, and it's just cool to see kind of the makeup of animals. Like, oh, this time we have a dolphin, an elephant, the goat, the unicorn, the eagle, and the giraffe. And you're like, okay, cool. And you kind of just see how that works, and they kind of go out on the board. There's also like a couple expansions, but expansions are just more boards, so they're not always exactly the same. And it's great. It's super, super fun. We've been playing this game. We finally just got this game. Shout out to our friend Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Because it's not really available out there, so
it's
sorry.
very difficult to get,
This has got you excited. Sorry about that.
But so we've just been playing it at every convention we can. We basically played at a convention. Every time we're at a convention, we end up playing it again.
It's a perpetual convention game now, especially because people know we like it so much and we can teach it.
And it's simple and stuff like that. It's so fun. I really, really love it, and I just keep wanting to play over and over and over again. I do wish there was like another expansion with even more animals, because I just want as much variety with that kind of stuff as possible. Yeah. But Fast Sloths is so, so, so good, and it's on our minds.
Number 7 is going to be Pirates of Maracaibo.
Sometimes a new version of a game comes along, and you just don't need to play the old one.
It's just better.
Yeah.
It's just better.
Yeah.
Because it does a lot of things that Maracaibo does, but it simplifies a lot of other elements.
It's better.
Yeah, but it gives you the same kind of tableau building that you get with Maracaibo. So in this version of Maracaibo, you have a ship, and across 3 rounds, you are going to be moving through a vast tableau of cards, which is going to be various things that you're interacting with, essentially.
A bunch of islands
on your adventures. Islands and stuff. And you're going to end up at Maracaibo, and that'll end the rounds and stuff 3 different times. And so what's great is Maracaibo for me, and I really do enjoy that game, theme aside and everything, is like the cards. You can play cards that maybe give you a discount on all future purchases, and I can get multiple of that card, and that ability will stack.
It's got some great engine building.
Got some great engine building to it, and this game keeps that where you can get cards that are going to have a one-time benefit, an end game scoring thing, or a perpetual ability. So now if I do a raid action, because we are pirates after all, I can get more action points to get more treasure and stuff like that. And so I like that that's still at the heart of it, but it just kind of takes, influencing with foreign nations, like all that stuff is gone. It's just about kind of getting those cards or interacting with the various kind of island cards. You still have an explorer, you can move around and do stuff. So it has like all the flavors that I did enjoy in terms of the gameplay.
It's easier to streamline.
It's just easier to play.
I think it looks really, really nice when all the cards are kind of splayed out. It's just
kinda
cool.
great.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I like Pirates of Maracaibo a lot. We played it a whole bunch. You played it. I know you played a ton of BGA. We showed Jimmy it somewhat recently. Pirates of Maracaibo is one I always want to play.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Yeah, it's because the map is going to set up differently every time because it's just cards putting out. So it's like, well, there's going to be different cards all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of more dynamic in that way.
Yeah, and it's just nice. I really enjoy it because again, it's kind of like a Terraforming Mars situation where it's like we both like Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition because it kind of kept all the stuff we really wanted, took out stuff we either didn't care about or didn't like, and then made it faster. And that's exactly what this did. And I'm like, cool, great. I never ever need to play Maracaibo again because will always just want to play Pirates of Maracaibo.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. So that's for us why it's on our obsessed list.
This is a game I think I'd play every single day if I could. And honestly, if we got to play it more often, it'd probably be higher, at least on my personal list if we did separate lists. This is going to be hooky. I am obsessed with this. That's the whole point of this list. But I am obsessed with hooky. I don't know what it is about this game. This is essentially
it's a good brain burn.
Yeah, there's just something about it. I don't know. This is essentially kind of like competitive deduction Wordle is what it is. Yeah. So if you like playing the Wordle, give hooky a shot. It's really fun. This is basically a game where there is a class of kids, and all the kids, they're like at school, all the kids have a name that starts with the letter of the alphabet. So there's like Ashley and all, B, C, D, all the way through Z. And every player is given a certain amount of these letter cards, of these kids. And basically what you're trying to do, there's going to be 3 cards left over after everyone gets their cards. And those are the 3 kids playing hooky. They are absent from class, and you're trying to figure out what letters those are, what 3 kids are playing
What 3
hooky.
letters are missing.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a bunch of cards, and so you're like, well, I know it's not J, K, B, F, and D because I have those cards. I know they can't be playing hooky, and then everyone else has cards. And so how you deduce this down is you ask someone around the table a 5-letter word. So you'd be like, Mike, picky, P-I-C-K-Y. Does that make any matches for you? So if Mike had like K and Y, he would say it makes 2 matches.
You don't know what 2 things have matched, but you know that 2 of the letters are correct.
Yeah, where if it was like yucky, that'd be Y-U-C-K-Y. Mike had K and Y. It'd be 3 matches because it matches 2 Ys. So you basically, then you're like, and everyone's hearing this. Everyone writes down, okay, yucky was 3 for Mike, but I know it can't be the C because I have the C. So you're like, okay, so you start deducing things down as people ask. So it's got this really interesting thing where it's got the deduction, which I really enjoy, but it's also got the needing to think of words that are helpful. Where you're like, I think Karen might have the D. So I need to think of a word that has D in it, preferably with this other letter that I'm trying to deduce down, and it's just really, really fun. Yeah. And you're basically just trying to figure out these 3 kids that are absent.
Yeah, I think I really like this one because I am equally invested when other players are taking their turn. In fact, I probably could stand to learn more almost. And so I really enjoy that, like,
everyone's just like,
there's a lot of deduction games where you can write down what everyone else is doing. I'm just like, I don't care.
I'm not doing that at all.
In this one, I'm like, no, I need to know that word. How many matches was that? Because I'm doing all sorts of puzzle stuff back here. And I think that's really fantastic. Yeah, so I'm engaged constantly with this.
Yeah, and there's that moment in deduction games that I think is why they've become one of my favorite kinds of games, is because there's a moment in hooky always where it's like, okay, Mike can't have the P, and then you go like, wait, if Mike can't, and all these puzzle pieces just start going, because you're like, wait, that means Mike has to have this, and if Mike has that, that means Jenny over here, she has to have this, and it starts like. That is such a dopamine rush. It's like heroin straight to the brain. It's just like, oh my God, it's so good. I love hooky. The problem with hooky is a 3-player minimum, which is why we don't play it very often. But I would play this, I think, every single day if I could.
I think we just need to bring it home because we have people to play it and people who have played it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We have that ability, and I think it's one that. It's good. It's a brain burn. Yeah. But it is something that you will start to put some stuff together. Yeah. Like it makes you feel smart, I think, in that way.
I really love it.
Yeah.
Since this one was actually all Mike, I haven't played this game. We got a couple in here that are more one of us than the other, and this one's especially all you. Tell us about Zenith, Mike.
Zenith isn't even out yet. It's not even out yet, man. You can't even buy it physically, but you can play it on Board Game Arena. This is a game that is from the folks who made Captain Flip, which you mentioned
Love
earlier.
that game.
Very different game.
Yes.
But this is a 2-player game. You can play it up to 4 IRL. I don't know why you ever would. It's a 2-player game. It's a heads-up kind of tug-of-war style game where you are going to be playing out cards to gain influence in these various planets. There's Terra and Mars and Jupiter and stuff like that. There's 5 or 6 of them, I think 5. And each planet will pertain to a color of card, and you're going to be playing cards on your turn. You can play your cards in 1 of 3 ways. You can play it by paying its credits to do the influence action, and that's basically playing it down in front of you, doing what its effects are. And one thing that it will always do is it will always pull the matching color planet 1 space toward you. Yeah. You can also play cards for technology. There's these technology tracks because there's 3 factions. There's robots, animals, and humans. And you can go up these tech tracks, or you can play a card for diplomacy to get like a little bit of something. Excuse me. And this game comes down to that perfect 1v1 tug of war back and forth, because you can win 1 of 3 ways. If I get the same planet 3 times, I win. Yeah. If I get any 4 different planets, I win. Or if I get 5 planets total, you win. So you're having to track a lot of stuff about, like, they have that orange twice. Oh man, I got this tickle. Sorry about that. Sorry, I had a coughing attack. I got so excited that I think I almost died. I think I passed over for a second.
Yeah, we were at 3 win conditions. You were so excited.
3 win conditions. So you're trying to track what your opponent's doing, and you can end up in a situation where it's like, if they get that purple planet, they win. Yeah. So I can't ignore it.
Yeah, of course.
And you're trying to do these things, and like, I don't know. There's so many satisfying turns and things to consider. As I play like blue cards, for example, if I play 3 blue cards and I go to play another one, those cards that have already been played provide discounts. Yeah. Where I now get $3 off. So do I invest in the same color a bunch? Yeah. The abilities they provide, the Zenithium, which you use to go up the tech tracks. When you go up to a tech track, if I was already on the 2nd step and I go to the 3rd, I do the new step on the 3rd and I re-trigger the other step I've done before. So maybe I invest in that. There's just so many ways to manipulate the game. There's so many things you can do. The first time I played it, I was kind of like, oh, it just kind of seems like back and forth. I'm not really doing much. And then I started to see like how you can be strategic. Oh my gosh. Anyway, on and on. Talking about it almost killed me. That's how you know it's good. I can't wait for it to come out physically.
I know. I want to play it so bad. I'm not really a big BGA player, so I really, really want to play it.
I think it's so fun. I'm so excited. One of the better 2-player games. Again, you can play it, I guess, in teams or something. Do not bother. It's a 2-player game. It's okay that it's a 2-player game. I want the heads up 1v1 tug of war. It's one of the better 2-player games I've ever played.
Number 4 is going to be our favorite game of the year, and we're still pretty obsessed with it. That is going to be SETI.
It's going to be obsessed with your favorite game from the year, I think.
It is indeed. Well, hey, maybe it's a time and a moment. But yeah, SETI is just so good. This is a game where you're searching for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI is a real thing. Yep. And yeah, but this game, you get to find it. And this is a game where, like, I'm so intrigued by this game. And we've talked about it before, but because, like, the rules of the game and each individual action is, like, so simple. There's, like, 5 or 6 of, like, the main actions. And, like, one of them is putting a probe out of space. And it's like, it costs 2 credits. That's the entire action. And then you just put a probe onto Earth because that's the whole thing. You can then move it around and you can like drop onto planets or orbit various planets and moons to get all this kind of cool stuff. But each individual action is so easy. And one thing I love about this game is like it's just so easy to teach this game because of the game. Because of the fact that like each individual action is not difficult, but the way you put them together and what you do and when and how you use your resources, which are very, very tight in the game.
That's where that challenge level comes from, I think, is the resources are very tight, so you have to like
figure out what things you're gonna really focus on, because you can focus on different parts of the game and how you want to do that. And this is also just one of those games that like, I know that like the more you play, just like, and this is every game, of course, it sounds silly to put it this way, but like the more you play, the better you're gonna get. And it's like one of those things where like, say like Tapestry in the rule book, it's like a 300 is considered a really good score. And everyone's like, We all just scored 75. How the hell do you get to 300? Because you just start to figure it out. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where it's like, you'll learn how to like combo things together and do stuff differently. It's really cool. In this game, you will actually find these extraterrestrial intelligences. You'll have 2 random ones every game. There's 5 total. I assume they'll come out with more, and I cannot wait for that.
That's all I'm waiting for.
So you don't know which ones are in the game, but then they'll change up the game in a little way, not in a huge way, but that's also a good thing because it keeps all those rules simple and easy to learn.
They'll provide new opportunities.
Yeah, for doing different stuff.
Ways to score points, essentially.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. I don't know. I love SETI so much. I'm thinking about it all the time. I want to play. I really want to solo it. People are saying it's really good solo.
Yeah, I'm so curious.
I might take it home and solo it because it's just so good. And if I want to play a game enough to go take it home and solo it, that is
especially
usually a
a
pretty
big game like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sign.
That's going to be some work to do. So if you're down to solo it, then at least for us who we solo an okay amount, but like not all the time. That's a really good sign. So SETI is. Just keep printing aliens, man.
Yeah, really tough.
CGE, get on it. I'm sure they already are.
I'm sure they are.
Next up is going to be a game that you played, quite a while before I did.
Yeah,
you played it last spring. I played it last fall, right at the end of the year, really.
Yeah.
It's Let's Go to Japan.
Yes.
This is a game.
Love this game. There's something about this game.
This game,
I don't know what it is.
It's just fun, I think, to build a tableau. It kind of has the castle combo thing, albeit it's a longer game than that, although it's not crazy long. But it's just really fun to kind of build your tableau of cards, and I think the theming really is great.
It's very cool.
You are planning your trip to Japan, so you are the cards you're playing is a card drafting game. The cards you're playing are going to go into the various days of your trip. You're going to put 3 cards in each of them, and then the card that's kind of showing, because they're going to kind of tuck under each other. The main card that's showing is your highlight of the day.
Because you're doing like activities.
Yeah,
you're like, we're going to go to this restaurant and eat, and then we're going to go take like a drum lesson.
Check out this arcade, or whatever it might be. And then your highlight of the day is going to have some requirements for basically symbols that you have acquired from going to places and stuff. If you do a food-based thing, you're going to provide a little food icon, for example. And you are going to hopefully be triggering those scorings, where if I have these 3 symbols, I get 8 points or whatever. And you're trying to kind of put together a really satisfying trip in that way. I just think there's a lot of fun things to consider. There's the fact that half the cards are cards that are set in Tokyo, the other ones are in Kyoto, so you are potentially going back and forth between the 2 cities, which require you to put down these train tokens, which you don't want to do too much of because it can start to lose you points.
Yeah, you just bounce around between the 2 cities. Not very efficient planning.
Yeah, and you're trying to just build together a really nice synergistic tableau of cards. I think it's just the art, what you're doing, the fact that people can use this because they're all real things in Japan, so you can actually use it to learn. I would
love to actually plan a trip this way. I think it'd be very, very fun.
I know a lot of people have done that to at least go through the cards to see what things there might be interesting.
Yeah, because there's like information on all of them, which is like really cool. But I think this game for me is like the planning is so interesting because, as Mikey was saying, you're getting to score these highlighted days, but the only symbols that matter are symbols from where that day is, if it's on like Tuesday or something like that, and then all the previous days. But the days that are after haven't happened yet, so you don't get those symbols. So as you're like planning out this game, you're like, I'm gonna put this here. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't put this in front because like all of those symbols are later in the week, because you don't have to put down cards in Monday first, then Tuesday. No. You can put them out wherever, because again, you're just planning. You're not actually going on the trip yet. And so that puzzle of like, oh no, I need this symbol here because it's gonna score for this card over on Saturday.
Yes.
And it's just, that puzzle is so interesting. In what is not like a heavy game. So it's a nice kind of just a good weight of game that's got some nice thinkiness to it, some good drafting. It's just, I don't know, there's something about this game, and I really hope they make more Let's Go to da-da-da. Literally, don't even change any of the mechanics.
Yeah.
Literally just put one in Paris, put one in Egypt, put one in, here. It's like, do all this different kind of cool stuff. I think it'd be really, really rad.
Yeah, I think it's a cool like learning tool. It's really fun. The timing element. There's just a lot to love. And this is one that had been hyped up quite a bit. A lot of people had talked about how much they liked it. Yeah. And when I finally got to it, I was just like, I totally understand I get it now. Yeah. It's a very enjoyable one.
Number 2, this one's slightly more for me than it is for Mikey, but now this is going to be the search for UAPs. This is another deduction game. As I said, we've been really, really getting into deduction games.
Yeah.
The main difference for this one is that this is one that you can solo. and I have been playing a butt ton of it. We have been talking about these Search for games, the Search for Planet X, Search for Lost Species, and now the Search for UAPs. I hope they do more of them because I love all of them.
That'd be great.
And love playing all of them. This is the newest one. This is actually by Ted Alspach, who runs Bezier Games. They kind of did a crossover. Ted must really like these games.
I think that's what it came from. I think he's just genuinely a fan.
Yeah, so he's like, hey, I want to make one of these. You guys down? They were like,
Yeah.
sure. Like, that sounds great to us. So this one is interesting, where you are trying to find the UAP, which in this case is just the unidentified
anomalous phenomena.
Yeah, so kind of a UFO kind of thing. You're trying to find this mysterious thing in the sky. And so it's kind of like the Search for Planet X in that way, where you're kind of on this big circle board. But the main difference between this one is you are actually on the Earth, because the Earth is in the middle, and the Earth is rotating because it rotates. So as the game goes, the different quadrants and stuff are rotating around the board. So certain things are in certain spots, and they're next to certain things. But then as the board starts to change, things are kind of moving where they are. And so it's another thing that you have to track, which I really, really enjoy. One of the main reasons why I'll straight up say I like the Search for Lost Species more than I like the Search for UAPs, but I like the solo for Search for UAP more, and I've been soloing it a ton at home. It's only at least once a week. I've it's been living on my coffee table a lot of the times, because I'll put something on TV and play this game real quick. And I love deduction games. This one's so fun solo, and I don't know, this whole series of game I'm just permanently obsessed with, more or less. And this is the one I've been playing a lot of.
Yeah, I think that they all solo really well.
Yes, they
and
do.
You are going against a computer that also doesn't know the answer, which I think is just really cool. Like, the computer is genuinely competing against you.
You're literally playing against a player.
Yeah, which is really cool. But this one, just with the way it all works, I agree. It makes sense that it would solo really well and easily, because it's just kind of compact in a way. These games are fantastic. I really want to play this one again.
Yeah,
because it's a tricky one. There's some extra trickiness to it, and just again, like we've been saying with episodes, keep making more in this series, because we will get them all.
What's number one, Mikey?
Number one, I think, is the clear obsession winner.
Yeah.
This is going to be Civolution for us. This was on our best of the year list, but we had only played it,
I think, once
or maybe twice.
I had soloed it once.
I think that's right.
But it wasn't low on the list. I think it was 4 or 5.
It was 4 or 5.
It should have been a very close number 2.
Yeah, right up there with SETI, and I think that this trumps SETI in the obsession front, because
there's so many avenues.
Especially for being such a big game, we have played this a ton.
Yes.
Which we don't always get too much opportunity to replay games multiple times. But Civolution is a huge game. It's a civ building game with, like you said, there's multiple avenues of ways you can go about your stuff.
So much stuff
The things you focus on, exploring the map or building up your tribe, developing technologies and playing out cards and stuff. It's a huge sandbox, and it is quite large. But it's such a huge game, and yet we've played it multiple times together. We have each soloed this game.
I've soloed it 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
And again, if you're going to take a time to set up a game and solo it, doing a big one is that's an extra.
Yeah, at one point Mike came over after his daughter Logan went to bed. It was 9 o'clock, and we both were like, man, I want to play Civolution. And I was like, dude, I'll start setting it up. And he's like, dude, I'll come over right when Logan goes down. So he came over, it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
He came over 9 p.m. We were playing till 11.
Played it too late, frankly, but it was super fun. Yeah, so things like that where I'm like, man, you know what? Playing Castle Combo is easy.
Yes.
It's quick. It's, Civolution is not easy to play in terms of time and things. And yet, here we are. We've played it a bunch of times, and I still right now I could play it right now. It'd be a great way to spend the day. We have too much work to do.
Why are we filming it?
Well, we have work to do, but if we didn't, I would play that. And I just think that's a real marker for this is something special. So we really like that one. Again, if we were to re-rank, and we will at the end of this year re-rank our 2024 games. It's at worst number 2.
Yeah, at worst. Yeah.
And we'll see how this year plays out. If this or SETI gets played more than the other, or something else comes along from 2024. But they're all super fun.
Yeah, they're all super good.
That is our current obsession list. We are on Patreon going to have A handful of other
yeah.
games that have been really capturing our attention lately. So if you want to get more of that goodness and more other bonus content, first looks, first impressions of games, all that can be found on our Patreon.
Yeah.
You can help us select what games we're going to be streaming here on the channel,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff like that. So we would love it if you joined us over there. You can see our patrons scrolling down here as well, and that gets you in there. And what we want from you is to put down games that you are obsessed with. You don't have to do 10 if you want, but like, what's a game that you're like thinking about,
it's just
playing over and over?
Just bouncing around in there.
What's going zing zang zoom all around your brain? Let us know in the comments below. We'd really love that.
Yeah.
And please give this video a share if you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for watching that top 10 games we're currently absolutely obsessed with. I want to give a big shout out to our channel sponsors, Restoration Games, Board Game Geek, Garfield Games, Arctic Tables, and a big shout out to our month sponsor, Stupid Rat Creature, who is one of our very good friends and has probably the best online handle ever. They are actually a witch, but you know what? We accept them for who they are.